What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Ridge here to talk some NBA prop plays over on PrizePicks for Monday, March the 13th. We have a pretty good slate in the NBA tonight, so I do have some good picks for you. Some that are pretty interesting. We have a bit of a revenge game, maybe not quite a revenge game tonight, but definitely there will be some words said between Klay Thompson and Devin Booker, so let's get into that right now. For all the high-flying action, take a step back and relax. It's time to count that money, the NBA props. No look any further. You know what time it is. Presented by PrizePicks, NBA props. Let's
count that money, man.
All right, so the last time these two teams placed, Devin Booker and Klay Thompson had some choice words for each other. Tonight, I will be taking Devin Booker's fantasy score over 46.5 points. You see he's been averaging right around 56 over the last 5 games, and on the 100 possession data, he should be somewhere around 48. We even projected for right around 50 tonight. He's been very consistent as well, so that's another reason to really like Booker and what he's been doing. But I think he's going to be the driving force here between them actually beating Golden State or them not beating Golden State. Him and Klay, they've been going at each other. Klay flashed him the 4 rings. Booker didn't take too kindly to that, but there will definitely be some sparks tonight in Golden State. This game is in Golden State. We know the Golden State plays much better at home than they do on the road, but I think the Booker's going to have to show up in this one, so I'm willing to trust him. He's going to play all the minutes. They're going to be trying to win. Pace looks good at 105.475. So I'm taking Booker here. I think it's a great spot. And defensively, Golden State hasn't been great against shooting guards. They don't defend them very well. I'm sure that Klay will take on the assignment of Devin Booker, but we'll see if he can actually stop him. I'm trusting Booker in this one as well. In his last 2 games against Golden State, he's had 27 points and at least 7 assists. So that's a pretty good baseline of points. You know, obviously fantasy score does factor in defense as well, and Booker can get a couple steals there. This was the best matchup for him. The points, rebounds, and assists was also solid. I believe that number was at 40.5, if I remember correctly, somewhere around there. But the fantasy score was the best number on PrizePicks in terms of my projections. As well, one of the best plays was Marcus Smart over his points. You see this is minus 130 on DraftKings to go over. As well, Houston is the worst defense. Well, could be the worst defense in the league. I believe they have the worst record in the league with only 15 wins. And they played the Boston Celtics. There's, of course, fears of a blowout here. But 11.5 is pretty modest, even for Marcus Smart. It won't take him long to get 11 points. Does he take enough shots to get there? I would imagine so. They don't defend the 3 very well. And this is the number 1 matchup for opposing point guards. So you could take Tatum over his 30 points. And I like Tatum over 30 points. But, I mean, getting to 12 points, getting 30 points, those are 2 very different things. And, of course, Tatum could do it. I'm not saying he can't. But I'm willing to roll with Marcus Smart here and assume he's going to get me at least 12 points. He's been doing that pretty consistently. You see 11.6 over the last 5 and 13.9. I just think the matchup against Houston is too good to ignore, so you have to roll with him tonight. He's in a good spot. The point total seems a little high. Tatum could go off. Jaylen Brown could go off. I'm just trying to make the smart decision possible, and I'm rolling with the books here. Someone on Boston is going to go over. Why can't it be Marcus Smart tonight? The other play I do like is Domantas Sabonis versus Milwaukee. His points and rebounds at 30.5. It's minus 135 to the over on DraftKings. Slight edge. He's been averaging right around 32.6. Minutes-wise, he's right around 35. And then as well, the 100 possession data says he should be around 32.1. So he's been very consistent, very within his range of outcomes. And against Milwaukee, again, not the best matchup, but he had a pretty good game the last time he played Milwaukee. So I'm not overly concerned. It sounds like a lot, but 2010 for Sabonis, pretty reasonable. Now he'll probably see a lot of Brook Lopez and Giannis, and that will be a problem for him scoring the rock. But overall, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, he should be just fine, and he can do a lot of damage quickly. So as long as he's out of foul trouble, I think he's got a pretty good shot here, and the bookmakers tend to agree. Pace-wise, he's looking like it could be a fast one. So that as well, playing against Milwaukee, they don't always play fast, but Sacramento we know likes to run. Additional possessions, more rebounds, more points. I like it quite a bit. The last one is Desmond Bane's fantasy score under 38.5. It's just a little bit high for me right now. You see over the last 5, Desmond Bane's been averaging around 32.8, and 100 possession has him for around 36. So again, he could get there. Absolutely. Desmond Bane could easily do it. He can get a lot of steals and play good defense at times. Against Dallas, though, we'll see. You know, it's a lot of slow pace. Luka, Kyrie dribbling the air out of the ball. It's not always lending itself to an over for a lot of these players. So it just depends. Bane isn't a superstar, but he can get it done. I think, you know, the biggest thing with Dallas is they're more susceptible inside. Jaren could have a massive game against them. We've seen a lot of bigs have good games against the Dallas Mavericks. But on the perimeter, it just depends. Player by player, it's hard to say. Bane is a guy who could definitely go under, and based off kind of what we're seeing, the matchup data it's fine. You know, they're not quite as stout on the outside as they used to be before they made that trade, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be Bane's night tonight, and that's why I think he could go under. The matchup isn't great. Fantasy score line is a little high. The pace environment should be pretty slow. It's just going to be a slow-paced game. You know, Memphis, they're the grind house. They like to grind it out. Dallas plays the same way. They got to be efficient. You got to score points. If there's no pace, it could be still a relatively low-scoring game where you have to be efficient. So possessions are down. Scoring, we'll see. But that's kind of how I see it today. Marcus Smart over his points at 11.5. Devin Booker over his fantasy score at 46.5. Domantas Sabonis over his points and rebounds at 30.5. And Desmond Bane under his fantasy score at 38.5. As always, if you tail, give PrizePicks hell, and if we fail, do not bail. I'll be back on Wednesday with more NBA picks and bets. Good luck tonight, and I'm out. Peace.